This is the Sea-Link terminal at Port Jarvis. It's 10 to 6 in the morning. The ferries got cancelled last night, and this one's leaving at 6 o'clock. We're on the next one, which leaves at 7. This is Kangaroo Island. It's approaching 7 o'clock in the morning.
We had booked to travel to Kangaroo Island by ferry on the Sunday night, but fierce storms had forced the cancellation of the ferry. We were rebooked for 7 a.m. the next day, but managed to get onto the earlier 6 o'clock ferry, which gave us an extra hour to play with on the island. Originally destined to come back on the Wednesday, our accommodation adjustment allowed us to come back on Thursday, which in effect gave us an extra day to tour the island. Ashore, it's 12 minutes past 7 in the morning, and as fast as it unloads, there it is, loading more to go back to the mainland yet again. So it'll be interesting to see what sort of day we have. Look at that dark cloud coming across from that side. Penshaw is a township on the north-east coast of the Dudley Peninsula on Kangaroo Island and is the island's main ferry port with regular services from Cape Jarvis. Penshaw features a maritime and folk museum and evening tours to a colony of little penguin, the only species of penguin to breed in Australian waters. South Australia's first desalination plant was established at Penshaw in the 1990s to supplement the town's limited dam water supply. At the 2006 census, Penshaw had a population of 265.
Well, the ferry got cancelled last night, and the amount of rubbish on the road and the fact that the rubbish bins are all blowing over in town here on the island is probably a testament to the ferocity of the winds that were blowing through the place last night, which led of course to the cancellation of the ferry service. There's been a few examples of trees being blown down or whatever. This is the Lashmar Conservation Park, and down in amongst the trees, a couple of crosses, one for Jane Lashmar, 1847 to 1866, and the other for Thomas Clark, 1894. Now they've obviously been put there recently, but no idea what they're about. This is the Chapman River, and in here apparently you can catch bream. Just cruising along and just looking at the surrounding countryside. Out of nowhere comes this. The kangaroos, or whatever, they're hungry and they're feeding.
Kingscote is situated on the shores of Nepean Bay with panoramic views of a boat-studded harbour. Kingscote is the island's capital and is a bright, bustling town of about 1,800 people. It is the centre of trade and commerce with banks, extensive shopping and services including cafes and hotels. It is also home to a colony of the smallest penguins in the world, the little penguin. It is South Australia's oldest European settlement. Seawater aquarium and penguin tours are held nightly.
At Uniting Church, originally a Methodist church built in 1907. This is Brownlow, this is a suburb of Kingscote. Store here. Fish and chips, fuel ice and takeaway foods, that type of thing. A lot of the stores and things tend to close down over the winter period, which is not very good if you're over here at winter time, obviously. Caravan park. This is Cygnet River, also just out of Kingscote. Just about all of the land on the island is farmland. Farmland, vineyards, beehives, that sort of thing. We're going down to Desiree Bay and the roads are very, very muddy. There's been some work around the place, earthworks and things, almost as though they're setting up to build an estate here, but there's a big storm came through here on Sunday night, and some roads seem to have copped it a heck of a lot, or some areas seem to have copped it a lot worse than others, and this road's very muddy and very slippery. This is all part of the Desiree Bay. This particular area here is camping. Camping fees apply. And they even show you where you can camp. The tent can go on that spot just there. And there's another allocated area just here. You certainly can't get much closer to the beach be here in a wild night, I'd suggest. Directly behind you, in the limestone, these holes. I wonder what lives in there.
Seal Bay is a 45-minute drive from Kingscote. You can wander along the 800-metre boardwalk, which meanders through the limestone cliffs and dunes to viewing platforms where you can observe the sea lions surfing the waves or sunning themselves on the beach while you enjoy the stunning coastal scenery. Beach access to the sea lion colony is by guided tour only, but sea lions can also be seen from the self-guided boardwalk. Nearby is Bales Bay picnic area, where picnic shelters, gas barbecues and toilets are provided. Kiawarra Cottage is a historical cottage built in 1873, which used to function as Kangaroo Island's first post office and features a history display. It is also the reception area for Seal Bay Cottages and Cafe, which is situated on 35 acres of land, half an hour from Kingscote, in a tranquil rural setting nestled among native gum trees and a winter lagoon. Waterbirds, wildflowers and native animals are on your doorstep, depending on the season.
And this acts also as the local pub. Stand area all set up, ready to go. And then out here, a dining room. Very nice. This is Ellen Bay down near Villon. In the far distance is the rock, is the end of Seal Bay. Places you can rent. Vivon Bay is serviced on the main road by its own store and bottle shop. She's a bit dirty. We're at Kingscote and it's Wednesday morning, last day. We're heading down to the other end of the island this morning. Geez, we've been over some filthy roads, I tell you. This is where we live. in there. There are 3 roads around the island. There's one south, there's one north, and there's one through the centre. This one is through the centre, heading down towards the other end of the island, and this is the turn off to Pandana, which is the main centre.
Pandana was established after the Second World War to support the soldier settlement scheme on Kangaroo Island. Returned soldiers and their families began to arrive in the area in 1948, occupying huts brought from a former internment camp, and began to move onto their farms in 1951. A total of 174 families came to live in the area, almost doubling Kangaroo Island's population by 1954. The name Pandana means the place of little gums.
Pandana IGA. Just down near Cape Border, and there's obviously been a fire through here, and the devastation is rather amazing. But there are this water pond here. Now that's a plover. There's supposedly only 200 of those left on the island. We've seen quite a few. And there's even a curious magpie. Back to our plovers, there's 2 of those over there now. This is the Harvey's Return Cemetery. It's the resting place of up to 16 persons who lived at the Cape Border Lighthouse complex. The first one was buried here in 1858. This little bloke's been following us. He's the one we just took the video of a couple of minutes ago. Crossed the road and he's followed us. He's determined he wants something to eat. It was 1935 when the Portland Maru, a freighter travelling from Port Lincoln, hit rocks and went down just off here. This is Scott's Cove and it's near Cape Border.
Cape Border is a headland with a lighthouse on the west coast of Kangaroo Island and is situated 70 kilometres west from the town of Kingscote. Cape Border Light Station was built in 1858 and is the 3rd oldest remaining and only square stone lighthouse in South Australia. The lighthouse was built to guide ships travelling along the Roaring Forties trade route heading into Investigator Strait towards Port Adelaide. The light station was automated in 1989 and is still fully operational.
This is the Cape Border coastline. This is what's protecting it. Flinders Chase National Park. This is at the western end of the island, and we're going to enter through the Shackle Road and follow that down through the centre of the park. Natural enemy of the bush is fire, although it does regenerate when it does go through and clean up, but certainly there's been a fire through here in the not too distant past. There's supposed to be an abundance of wildlife, but we haven't seen too much of it. What we have seen is an abundance of water. There's obviously been real big storms through the place in recent times, and there's a lot of water laying around. But so far the only wildlife we've seen has been a magpie who wanted us to feed him and got up close and personal. Unfortunately, of course, the park has had this fire go through it, which is possibly also a reason why we're not seeing too much here. They're ahead of us. We look down the road, there's a range of hills across the front. I wonder whether we'll actually get into them or not. But the fire damage still continues. Another one of those plovers. And this Snake Lagoon. It's usually dry, but apparently kangaroos and the like do come here to feed. Obviously by the amount of rain, these holes are full of water. Whatever is in there ain't in there at the moment. We're in the hill area of the Flinders Chase National Park, and still the bushfire devastation has gone on. It's not the right time of year to be here for two reasons. One, because of the winter obviously, and two is because of the fact that the fires have gone before us. There's a black buoy with a difference, or whatever you're supposed to call them these days in this politically correct world. This is West Bay, and this bower anchor from the Loch Venacar. A crew of 25 men died when the ship, three-masted ship, actually was wrecked in West Bay in 1905. This is the Bunker Hill Lookout, and it shows the degree of devastation that's happened with the bushfires that happened in December. Bit of regrowth happening over there. 15 bushfires through the island in December. This is Weir's Cove. It's the ruins of the storeroom. Let's go and have a look at it.
Supplies for the nearby Cape du Cudec lighthouse, which was built in 1909, were brought in through Weir's Cove. The supplies had to be hauled up the cliff from the jetty below through this man-made cutting in the sheer cliff face. There was no other way to get supplies to the lighthouse, as it was isolated, and supplies arrived only once every 3 months. Once at the top of the cliff, the supplies were stored in the storeroom. The front room was segregated into 3 separate compartments, one for each of the 3 families manning the lighthouse. It took until 1940 for a road to be built to the lighthouse to allow supplies to arrive by land. Admiral's Arch was sculpted by weathering and erosion from the sea over thousands of years. This colony of New Zealand fur seals on the rock platforms around Admiral's Arch can be seen from the viewing platforms and boardwalk. These dark brown seals feed at sea but return to land to rest and breed. Breeding occurs in summer when males establish territorial areas encompassing a number of females. Fur seal pups can often be seen playing near the rock pools beneath the arch.
It's the Flying Fox at Weir's Cove. It's 9 o'clock Thursday morning. We're heading down towards Penashore to get back on the boat at 10:30 to go back to the mainland. It's pretty ordinary out there, but that is looking north and all of the weather is coming from the west. It doesn't look quite that bad. This is Penashore, this is the terminal and the ferry coming into shore from the mainland.
Kangaroo Island is 150 kilometres long and between 57 and 90 kilometres wide. Its area covering 4,405 square kilometres. Its coastline is 540 kilometres long and the highest point is 307 metres above sea level. The storm at the beginning of our trip inadvertently and thankfully extended our stay by 1 day. By going in the morning rather than the night before, our accommodation package allowed us 3 full days to explore the island. and it wasn't enough. To do it properly, I would estimate that a week is the absolute minimum you should consider staying over. We were there in the winter time and much of the island had shut down, but we had the place pretty much to ourselves. If you enjoyed this video, there's over 200 more just like it on this channel. Subscribe and hit the notification bell and we'll let you know when our next video is available. If you liked this video, hit the like button. And if you weren't that impressed, please don't hit the dislike button. Instead, tell us why, so that we can do something about it. Thanks for watching.